Boston has entered the chat. You damn right we have. Travis Thomas here with George Balekji inside of our, what do I always say, plush, palatial PNC Bank Studios.
I like that.
You like that?
Diving deep into your thesaurus.
Yeah, man, I'm in my bag, baby. How you doing, bro?
Doing good, man. Good to be back at the desk with you.
Yes.
I was away for a little bit.
Yes.
You were too, 4th of July. We come back. Fireworks. We got all our extremities. Everything's back and good. We got all our fingers. It's all that matters.
All of our extremities. Facts. 617-790-0928. That is a Boston has entered the chat hotline in which we ask you to please call us. Leave us a voicemail. We always plan for you. You can also email us, thechat@nesson.com, and tweet us per usual. We'll get to those later in this here program. But, George, I want to start here with what's trending. What caught our eye? We'll rapid-fire style go through these. How about this? Jayson Tatum expected to be on the cover of 2K25. This announcement could come in a matter of days, my friend. What do you think? Jayson Tatum on the cover. How do you feel about that?
This is a long-term decision made. It's not made after the most recent championship.
Right.
It's made almost like a whole calendar year
Cumulative.
before. And I don't love it. I think it should be Ant-Man on this.
Really?
Face of the league, push it, or Wemby. Because Tatum had a good year and just won a ring. Man, I wanted to see more out of Tatum getting that ring. And I think I gotta separate my biases in this one. Is he a player that should be on the cover? Yes, for sure. I think it'll get met with some backlash because, like, what did Tatum do? Jaylen Brown won the ring for him. Tatum, and also him being so ungenuine, you know, with what he said right after they won.
We did it!
Exactly. So I think he'll get kicked back. But you know what? One of the top 5, top 7 players in the league. I like it.
Yeah, that's just it for me. I mean, you brought up Wemby, you brought up the Ant-Man for face of the league.
Jokic.
I mean, Jayson Tatum's in that conversation, so I don't think this is out of pocket at all. And if there are people ignorant enough out there to suggest that Jayson Tatum didn't help the Celtics win the title, I mean, they're not playing this video game anyways. They probably don't even watch basketball because clearly you could say Jaylen Brown obviously won all the accolades and was the most obviously consistent player throughout the postseason, but to suggest that Jayson Tatum didn't help the Celtics win a title, I mean, that's asinine. So I think Tatum being on the cover of 2K25, I think is apropos. And by the way, I think next season he's going to get more MVP love. I really do. I thought this year he would have been the best player on the best regular season team, generally garnered you a little bit more love. He didn't get it this year. Not that I thought that he in way that he deserved it. He didn't really get it. I think this upcoming season he's going to get that.
Really?
I do believe. Yeah, I do. I think he's going to get both the love from the media and from the fan vote as well. I think Jayson Tatum could very well win the MVP this year in a repeat championship season for the Celtics.
I see SGA making a jump, getting more
Love
votes
him.
than he already did.
Love his game.
Ant-Man, if he takes the next step, gets his legs under him and is more conditioned, I think he steals more. I think the reason I even had the reaction to it's like the ad nauseum of like Jayson Tatum getting shoved down our throats.
Right.
With the marketing, with the Jordan brands, all that stuff. Good for him being on the cover, though.
I don't know if you saw
this nice. I'll be nice.
I don't know if you saw this commercial, but Arch Manning teamed up with his uncle, Eli Manning, and Arch announced he will, after all, be in the new college football video game after previously declining because I guess the funds were insufficient. So now, you know, Arch is happy with whatever deal that was struck. And how dare we peasants think anything less of the Manning family, who is somehow still running football, even though Peyton and Eli and Archie are long gone and Cooper never even made it. But now, because we have the prodigal son, Arch Manning, we can all bow down at the feet of the Manning family yet again in football. Can you tell I'm sick of it? Because I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I thought this was over. I thought Archie was long gone and Peyton and Eli were long gone. I'm sick of the Mannings. I'm sick of the dad. I'm sick of the Manning cast. I'm sick of it all. I'm sick of the Manning camps. Now we get Arch dictating what we're doing with our college football video game that we all can't wait for it to drop. How dare we wait on Arch Manning to make a decision? You don't even start, bro. I feel better, thanks.
Yeah, I was just saying, this is a nice outlet for you, huh?
So sick of the Mannings.
I was able to separate Tatum from, the art from the artist.
I'm just sick of them.
No, but you just hate the Mannings.
I'm sick of them. How many more Mannings do we have after Arch? Do we have a whole nother generation coming?
Yeah, I mean, Peyton and Eli have kids.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we're not done
Can't
yet.
wait.
Oh, yeah, we're not done.
Can't wait.
Well, I think the best was he wasn't going to do it to concentrate on football. You just have to sign a form and they put you in, dude. That's it. And he got a check for $600, which he doesn't need. He's one of the top NIL earners in all of college athletics.
And he's a Manning.
$2 million plus a year. Yeah, and he's going to inherit.
I think he's good.
Yeah. I'm excited for it because that game comes on. And then you have the whole state of Texas that's going to go Quinn Ewers, boop, Arch Manning, boop, and they're going to play with him.
Oh, yeah, they're benching him.
I mean, it was smart for him to do this. And the fact that it's a big deal, I get it, though. It's a man. He's like, dude, shut up.
I'm just so sick
Sign
of
the
them.
paper.
And it's
Give
just
that $600 check to a teammate that needs it.
It's so forgotten, too, that Eli did this diva stuff. I have not forgotten. Eli Manning refused to play for the Chargers.
You know what? Good for Eli for doing that.
Oh, God.
No, don't.
You would
do
say
not, do not reward bad ownership like the Chargers. He saw what was happening in San Diego. He goes, Philip, your non-cursing ass, you get over there. I'm going to New York. I don't blame him.
Any other last name not named Manning would just be thankful to be in the league and be drafted by whoever the hell drafts them number one overall. But no, not the Manning royalty. No, how dare you send me to a bad ownership team? Oh, you mean the worst team in the league has the first pick? That's what you guys do? How dare you? No, send me to where I want to go. I want to go to the Big Apple. I haven't forgot, Eli. I haven't forgot those Super Bowls either.
It's been like 30 years, and where are the Chargers? Still one of the worst teams in the league.
It's touche.
There we go.
How about this? Dak Prescott was seen in a walking boot while on vacation in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. And I guess Dak has now come out and said, there's nothing wrong with me. My ankle's good. I just happened to be taking a stroll in a walking boot for precautionary reasons. There's nothing wrong with me. Are you buying this, George? Because I'm not. You're in a walking boot because your foot's jacked up, bro.
It was the same ankle that he injured 4 years ago. I said he was working out. He was going out and he was sore. He was going on a fishing trip, so didn't want to bang it up. I love it. Dak Prescott is 30 years old. What am I doing at 30? I need to wear a copper fit knee sleeve on my left knee if I want to play pickup hoops mildly. Dak Prescott has to put a walking boot on.
Yeah.
Athletes, they're just like us.
Yeah, I guess.
You know when you see those old people like just going for a walk and they have a knee sleeve on or like the elbow sleeve.
Yes.
They're not even doing anything. Like maybe they're gardening.
Right.
Dak, just like us. Just like our mere humans. This is the one time I'll defend a Cowboy and Dak Prescott.
I thought all those mattresses he sleeps on and all that Dannon yogurt he eats.
Oh.
You know, all his endorsements. He's got that fancy mattress you set all the timers to and your body temperature and your I think it's sleep number maybe, and like all the nonsense you punch in like it's the SATs, and then you get some great sleep, and then he eats Dannon yogurt and that powers your joints. Turns out all those commercials are BS because you're walking around limping and in walking boots while on vacation.
He was there for his old teammate's wedding, too. I think it was Tyron Smith that got married.
Okay.
And he's still cutting it up on the dance floor.
Oh.
That's the evaluation.
How about that?
You could wear whatever you're wearing. You're on the dance floor, cutting up a rug, you're good. You can play.
Bro, there was one year I hurt my knee. I don't even remember how old I was. I was in my 20s. I hurt my knee, right?
Well, you have bad knees.
I have bad knees and ankles.
Yep.
Ironically.
Yep.
So anyway, I hurt my
title of your mixtape.
I tore my ACL. I hurt my knee, right? And like, I'm not lying, bro. It had to be maybe 4 to 5 months later. A friend of mine had a wedding, and I was a groomsman. And I told my doctor I have, like, wedding duties here. Like, I got to do all my stuff. I need some help, doc. Give me some painkillers. Give me something. I'm not going to name the painkiller he gave me. But George went up. I mean, cutting all kinds of rugs, dancing all night with no pain because of these damn pain pills. I am not lying to you. And then the next morning, I couldn't move.
Yep.
I was done.
You know who you are? You're an NFL player on a Monday night game. Tuesday, can't even get out of bed.
Shoot me up, coach.
Toradol wears off on a Tuesday. You can't even move, baby. Hey, speaking of NFL players in the recovery, check out the latest episode of Foxborough Rush. Travis Thomas and myself just dropped on Spotify, Apple, Amazon Prime, wherever you get your podcast. We go through the most clutch quarterbacks in the league right now, most clutch quarterbacks of all time. We talk an 18-game schedule, all that. And Trav, something else we're going to bring into it.
What?
Foxborough Rush. Just like we do here on the chat.
Yep.
You want to tweet at us? You want to join the conversation? Do so. We got a tweet to bring up here. We're cutting ahead a little bit of what we normally do in the chat.
Nice.
Nothing will convince me that Jake Johnson and George Balekji are different people.
Who?
You ever see the show New Girl?
No.
He plays Nick Miller in New Girl. It's just
it's just a beard.
It's white guy with a beard, and then the picture of us is there. It is bigger. Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, I see. I mean, I do see the resemblance. I would need to see how Homeboy acts on the show though before I start really. You know what I mean?
He acts like a salad. That ain't
then
me.
yeah, nah, hell no.
I've gotten comps to Stewie from Billions, and I will vouch that's a better one.
I watch Billions.
Literally,
which
he
one's
looks like
Stewie?
me, guy with a beard. Middle Eastern looking guy with a beard.
Okay, I gotta look this up now. Filibuster.
So
now I gotta
well,
look.
this is how it goes. You said it. It's a beard of me and Jake Johnson Bay. I don't even know his name.
Bro, I googled
Johnson.
Stewie and Stewie Griffin came up.
No, do
of course he
Stewie
did.
from Billions. You can't just Google Stewie. You want me to filibuster? Let's talk about technology, old man.
know. Oh, you do look like him.
There we go. See that one? That's the one I'm sold on.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I think that guy. I think he's from Iran or he's Iranian.
I only got
so that links up. I'm Lebanese, Iranian, Armenian, all the same.
all I've ever got is Mace Windu from Star Wars.
That's messed up.
That's all I get.
You do though. I mean, you're bald and
Bald and black.
That's it.
That's it.
That's not
That's
bad.
a prerequisite.
I would take Mace Windu though. That's my thing too. I'd see Nick Miller. I'm like, no. Then they give me a guy from Billions, suited and booted. I go, hell yeah.
I guess I know what I'm going to be for Halloween. It's a pretty easy
You
costume.
should do that every year.
I should.
Literally every year.
It's literally, I think it's a brown robe.
Yeah.
And then like a lightsaber.
A darker brown belt.
Darker
and a
brown
purple
belt.
lightsaber.
Boom. Mace Windu, baby.
And then you could play it up when the kids get older and they can be more scared. You could be like dead Mace Windu, like put some blood. Have like an eye falling out. Just saying.
All right, let's. I know what I won't be for Halloween. Cooper Flagg. Have you seen the footage of him lighting up Team USA in scrimmages? This kid can ball. All right, here it is right here. So now, look,
Ridiculous.
The general consensus from all of this was, I mean, people already knew. I know he's just 17, but people already knew physically he was dynamic enough and has a skill set to play in the NBA and play against NBA players. That was not shocking to anyone. I think the general consensus and takeaway was the mentals of this kid, because he was going at cats. He was not intimidated. He was not scared. He was not shook. He was going at them. And that seemingly impressed coaches and NBA players the most. So the question is, I mean, do you believe that Cooper Flagg is already NBA level ready?
How can you say no when in these videos we're playing, he's taking on Anthony Davis, like switching on
Going at
AD
him.
on the perimeter, getting buckets, turning around, shooting over Drew Holiday, and in the main sequence on that video, switches
crazy.
on to AD, pull up 3 hits, gets back on transition defense quick, breaks up the pass to Anthony Davis, forces a turnover.
Crazy.
Fast break 3 misses. He has a putback and 1. And that. Then the next trip down, posting up Drew Holiday, who can guard 1 through 5, is one of the best defenders in the league.
Tough.
And scores over him too. What you see is he's fearless of the matchup. He has that killer mentality.
Yes.
And he's only 17. He's 6'9", only 17. But his confidence is so damn high.
Mm-hmm.
None of that's throwing that off. And the quotes coming out of camp, it was Devin Booker, it was Drew Holiday, it were assistants on staff. Everyone talking glowing about him, where he was just, I'm going to step up, I'm going to kill whoever's in front of me. No fear. That's half of it of getting to the NBA.
Hell yeah.
Everyone has a skill set. Anyone on an NBA roster is one of the best basketball players in the world. This skill of the end of the bench guys is unreal. But what mentality do you have? Do you have that Mamba mentality? And for Cooper Flagg, he wasn't afraid of whoever's in front of him. That's why watching that, yes, we've seen him do all of that on the high school and AU circuit. That was against the best in the NBA, and it looked the same. He made it look easy, and he made it look confident. That is frightening.
I'm reminded of, before I moved here, just being in the area where I was career-wise in D.C., I heard about Caleb Williams when Caleb Williams was like 14 years old, maybe even younger. And sometimes you hear about these prodigies early on, and whether you do a story on them or not, you hear the name, and then years later you see what happens with a Caleb Williams. When I moved here a couple years back, one of our old coworkers now told me all about this Cooper Flagg kid. And Mike, I'm talking about, told me about Cooper Flagg. As soon as I got here, like some of our first conversations, he's like, bro, there's this kid in Maine. You got to.
Yep.
So this is what happens with prodigies. It happened with Bryce Harper. It happened. I mean, we've seen it. LeBron James. It happens with these prodigies where you start hearing their names early and often, and then they become who they become. And you're like, whether you never saw them or not, you heard the name. That's where I'm at with Cooper Flagg. As soon as I got here, everyone told me a couple years back, this is the kid. And now here we are. And guess what? He's the guy. Mm-hmm. I hate that he's going to Duke for a year. I hate it. I wish he could go straight to the NBA because I'm ready to see him now. I certainly don't want to see him at Duke. My God, I wish he chose any other college on planet Earth. But at the same time, go get your experience and then go to the league because you know this as well as I do. Wizards, loser franchises.
No.
Wizards,
No.
Pistons.
No.
You know the names. They are going to tank for this kid and still not get him. It's going to be hilarious.
Wizards just traded your boy to Portland.
Yeah.
Big man, what was his name?
No, you're talking about Denny Avia?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
And he's nothing spectacular, but that is the ultimate tank move.
Yeah, they don't need to tank. They suck. But my point is this. Wizards, Pistons, all the teams at the bottom of the barrel are going to openly tank for this kid, and none of them are going to end up with him. My guess, if I had to put money on it right now, I bet you the Hawks end up with him. You know why? The Hawks are going to suck this year. We know it. They made their decision to keep Trae Young, move DeJounte Murray and others.
And then you got Russell Share from France.
They're gonna stink. But they'll be bad enough they'll be in the lottery, but no one will think they'll get the number one pick. They're going to think it's going to be all these tanky teams.
Stop.
And then watch the Hawks mess around, get Cooper Flagg, Trae Young, the young talent nucleus they have there, and then all of a sudden the Hawks are relevant again. That's my prediction.
I want him to go to one of two places.
Okay.
Number one, Chicago. They can mess around and tank.
They need a star.
They got nobody.
They got nothing.
Trade Levine at the deadline for whatever. Who cares?
I don't hate it.
If it gets you Cooper Flagg, you do it. And Chicago being good, it's
great.
so oversaid. It's great for the NBA, though. Those are fans that show up. Like, you go back a couple years ago when they were a relevant team in the playoff mix. Like a random Saturday night game in Chicago at United Arena, whatever it's called.
Yep.
Lit.
Yep.
Just packed.
Yep.
That, or I think is less likely, Toronto. Scotty Barnes is there. That's your cornerstone. Barnes and Cooper Flagg, you build around there. I don't hate Toronto.
him in America,
I would rather him be in Chicago or Toronto than Charlotte, Brooklyn, Washington, or Atlanta.
Well, Brooklyn wouldn't be the worst
No,
thing.
do not send him to Brooklyn.
Why not?
Bro, no one cares about Brooklyn.
They might have.
No, bro. It's you can't get there. Have you ever been to Brooklyn?
No.
Yeah, you do not know how difficult it is to get there.
Come on.
Yeah, none of the subways connect. It's just an older
To
neighborhood.
Brooklyn?
Yes. You got to take, like, the trains and the lines are less frequent. Like, you're in Manhattan, then you could go uptown.
Why is it set up
like
like
Queens.
that?
It's just it's updating the lines and extending them and all that. I don't know.
Wow, the world famous Brooklyn is hard to get to, huh?
Dude, you live in Brooklyn, you live in a different world.
Like, you don't leave it. You stay in Brooklyn.
You don't leave it. No one wants to go. Get ready for a long day trip.
I never knew that.
Oh, yeah. And it's just no one cares about the Nets in Brooklyn. Bro, what are you going to have? Hipsters from Williamsburg coming in, showing up? No.
I'm not going to lie. I don't hate Chicago.
They're going to be like, these seats aren't vegan.
I don't.
I don't want beer. I want chai lattes made out of, like, vegan juice. I don't know if any of that makes sense.
Shout outs to all the hipsters out there. We appreciate you and your hacky sacks.
My favorite bar of all time, though, it's literally called Caribbean Sport Bar. I think it's 44 Grand Street in Brooklyn. You'd think you walked into some abuela's basement in Puerto Rico.
Come on.
Sickest bar in the world.
Oh.
Yeah. Literally grabs Coronas out of like an old white fridge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, everything's cash. Guy playing bongos, people playing like whatever the drum is. I'm sorry if I just said the wrong drum there. People playing pool. You're hanging in someone's basement.
That's a vibe.
Everyone walk in. Yeah, I was in there, me, like my family, and we were just like, we shouldn't be here. But it's like, you go in.
Yeah.
Respect the setting, mind your own business. Only good thing I have to say about Brooklyn.
Well, listen.
That and the pizza.
Now that you broke that all down to me, it's not a good fit for Cooper Flagg. I'm with you. I think Chicago feels like the best fit overall. But, of course, I mean, this guy balling out against Team USA had Twitter in a tizzy. So let's take a look here. Remember, you can also call us 617-790-0928. You can also email us to chat@nesson.com. And we always tell you to tweet us. Check this out. Buck tweets us, "That's one bad white boy. Get ready, NBA. Larry Bird 2.0 is about to torch that league."
I mean,
let's slow down on the Larry Bird comparisons, huh?
What did Larry have, man? He was a killer.
Yeah, he was.
Did not care who was in front of him. So
we'll see.
I don't hate it.
Gabby Shires tweets, live footage of NBA teams trying to recruit him once he's done at Duke. Facts. For those of you just listening, it's a scene from The Office. You're moving very hastily to try and tank to get yourself Cooper Flagg in the draft. How about this from Gift? For contrast, I still peed the bed when I was 17. I mean, that seems a little late to be peeing the bed. I'm not going to lie to you.
I'm assuming
seems a little late.
I'm assuming there are 10 or 15 cervezas and tequila in the system before that happens.
The old underage drinking angle. Were you going to ask what I was doing at 17?
Yeah, what were you doing? That's like, literally. So right now, it is middle of July, and he's in Vegas getting buckets on the best offenders in the world. Middle of July, year 17 for you. So what is that, 1998? Yeah. Where were you in July of 98?
I was, during the summer, I was just hooping. I was living the jock life. I was lifting weights. I was hooping a lot, doing off-season conditioning. But the part where I was really douchey was I had in my car back in this time.
What was a whip?
I don't think it was the same for you.
What was a whip?
In 17, I had a black out Chevy Lumina with rims and tinted out, right?
Get out.
But what was cool in my day was your sound system.
Yeah, of course.
So I had I want to say I had 215s, an amp that I don't remember the wattage, but it was insane. And I was just riding around bumping. Probably at that time, it was probably a lot of 3-6 Mafia. And by the way, I still, to this day, can't hear out of my right ear because of them damn sound systems I had for years. So at 17, boom, there it is. I was blowing out one of my eardrums.
To this day, I think you'll know I have a midlife crisis when I roll up with a sub in my trunk of my Volkswagen.
Oh, man.
And speakers. Because growing up, it's what I wanted. But I was like, it was whatever it was, $200. I'm like, that's might as well be 20 grand.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm at the age, I'm like, I'm not spending. I think
that's all I spent my money on.
I'm thinking 17 July, I was Jersey Shore.
Oh, yeah.
Slinging
Jim Laundry.
Slinging pizza at Jancarelli's in Wayne.
Hell
and then
yeah.
GTL down to the Jersey Shore.
Let's go.
Wait, real quick. I did my Brooklyn subway research.
All right.
It can be difficult to figure out. Brooklyn is very large. It's massive. Most of the city's subway lines diverge out to different parts of Brooklyn. You can't ride one single subway all throughout Brooklyn. So Manhattan, even Queens is disconnected too. Brooklyn was more well-built than Queens, but it's when you get into Manhattan and even the Bronx, more subway lines out there. But Brooklyn, no, good luck getting there.
Where Brooklyn at? Can nobody get there? That's where they at. All right, now,
Mafia.
I got to ask Nesson's own, our guy, Greg Dudek, what he was doing at 17. But we didn't ask him that. We did have a chance to talk to him about his article on the Celtics' #1 draft pick, first-rounder, Baylor Shireman. So we caught up with Greg about his article about this. So take a listen, and then we'll react on the other side. We're talking hoops. You wrote this about the Celtics draft pick and Baylor Shireman. Tell us about it, my friend, and then we'll ask you some questions.
So, yeah, obviously, first of all, thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. Always want to be on Hold My Banner, and here I go, checking, a box off right after the 4th of July. It's great. But reached out to Baylor Shireman's coach. A lot of people, know him as the Creighton product, the lefty shooter, but he spent 3 years at South Dakota State. So I wanted to know a little bit more about his time with the Jackrabbits. So reached out to his college coach, Eric Henderson, and chat him up a little bit. Told me a little bit about his most underrated skill, what his NBA comp would be, and right on Nesson.com for everyone to go click and read.
All right, so let's get into it here. I mean, The first thing that I thought they needed a big, to be honest with you. But,
Facts.
I guess if you're a Celtics fan, what can you expect? Because you did so much deep digging on this kid. If I'm a Celtics fan, I'm wondering, well, what did we get here? How would you answer that? What can Celtics fans expect from this kid?
Yeah, they kind of got like a do-it-all threat, right? A 6'7", 205-pound guard, can really shoot it. 39% shooter in college. Can assist too, rebound, tenacious rebounder. I think it was like 20 more defensive rebounds in the last 25 years than anybody else has ever had in Division I college basketball. So they're getting a guy who can kind of do it all and really shoot the basketball. Lights out shooter, that's his elite skill, and that's what he's going to bring to the table.
All right, now, based on what you know about him and doing your digging, all of us do, winners and losers from the draft or draft grades, whatever. How would you sort of grade this? Like, as I said, I am not shy about, I thought they made a mistake, quite frankly, not taking a big man in that first round. But, okay, in Brad Stevens we trust. I mean, who am I to question him and all his greatness? But as you look at this and you've done your research and now it's official, I mean, how do you sort of grade this? How do you sort of make it out for the Celtics? Like, was this a good pick in your mind, in your opinion, or do you think they reached? Sort of, how do you put a grade on this pick?
It's a little incomplete, right? But
yeah.
I think when you're looking at it for where they were, it's Brad Stevens' first pick, in his era as president of basketball operations, first round pick, since he's taken over for Danny Ainge and the Celtics front office. So I think it's a little incomplete because you don't know exactly what he's going to be able to provide for the Celtics going forward. Stevens has already said, it's going to be tough for anybody we draft at, 30th overall to crack our rotation with everyone we're bringing back. But with what, the skills Shireman possesses and to get them at, the end of the first round, I think right now you're looking at like a B.
Okay.
He can shoot 39% career three-point shooter in college.
Yeah.
So he has, when you can get someone like Shireman who has at least one elite trait, at the end of the first round, which is kind of a crapshoot anyways, right? He's not a lottery pick, so his expectations are going to be much lower. Mm-hmm. You have to be kind of happy with it. So I'm going to go B for now, but more or less an incomplete because he's going to be spending a lot of time up in Maine in the G League, I expect.
Sure.
Yeah, that's true. And you brought up a good point that like he has some development to do. He's kind of like a strict great NBA skill that we know is going to translate quickly, which is his shooting. But what do you think the Celtics are kind of looking for in terms of his development in order for him to kind of crack this lineup?
So, yeah, I think for what they're looking for is, again, for him to kind of be more than a catch-and-shoot three-point shooter. That's obviously going to be his bread and butter to start. And then I think also, too, have him work on his handle, work on his passing, which is something that he's also very good at. He's an underrated passer. But they're going to probably look to see him work off the ball, work on his defense. He's like kind of like a Sam Hauser light at the moment, right? Like he can shoot the ball really well. He can play, adequate defense. But teams, if he's on the floor, they're going to try to target him and pick on him and hunt him in matchups.
GD, did I mention to you that I thought the Celtics should draft a big man? Did I mention that to you?
I think it came up in passing. I was right there on the wave too. You look at their depth chart at center. It's like they need a guy. Porzingis is always hurt. Al Horford has 1,000,000 miles on him.
Right.
They needed that center, right?
Well, what's weird is draft night, I was screaming, Greg. I was like, they got to take Kyle Flipkowski. And I don't even like Duke. But he was on the board. He has a skill set. He really fits into what they do. And then, days later, we learn about some things. I'm like, okay, cool. But am I wrong? Like, it just feels like an area of need Is there any part of you that just feels like they kind of dropped the ball here?
I mean, there is a little bit, right? Because you look at, I think center depth is their biggest, need on this team, right?
Yes,
you got,
sure.
like we were saying, Porzingis is always hurt. Al Horford, like, he could retire at any moment. He could have the wheels fall off. With him, you need to keep his workload down, especially in the regular season. You've seen that they've done that the past couple of seasons. He doesn't play back-to-backs anymore. And then you have Luke Cornett that they re-signed. You have Xavier Tillman that they re-signed. Neemias Quetta they brought back on a multi-year deal reportedly as well. So you have these guys, but it's like, wouldn't you want someone in a skill set like Filipowski? Obviously,
Yes.
There's a lot of off-the-court rumors and stuff stirring up about him that maybe was their red flag that they wanted to stay away. But
Yeah.
Yep.
Filipowski can shoot. We all know how much Joe Mazzulla loves the three-point shot. So I thought Filipowski looked like a somewhat of a natural fit for them, a five who can space the floor. You know what Luke Cornett's going to give you. He's going to give you good defense, team chemistry guy, good locker room fit. But in the playoffs, he's not going to see the floor much. Kind of the same thing with Tillman. We'll see what Quetta can bring. But it felt like if they picked Filipowski, maybe it was, again, more of a high upside pick. You're picking at number 30 overall. You don't know exactly what you're going to get. The first 2 years, maybe this guy's going to be a main in the G League.
Right.
So I thought Filipowski could have been an option for them. It seemed like, looking at all the mocks, he was kind of a mid to like early 20s first round pick, right?
Yep.
And for him to slip as far as he did, he was in the green room, and obviously that shot went viral of him afterwards. But
Yeah.
I definitely thought that there was a fit there, given the lack of depth at center. And it really revolves around Porzingis' health and Horford's age.
Yeah. By the way, Jayson Tatum on draft night tweeted that it was a mistake for all that. He obviously didn't key in on his team, but he said all these teams passing up on this kid is a mistake. But credit to Brad Stevens in this, though, and we understand it, guys. This team's so tight and so cohesive, and the chemistry's already there.
Yeah.
So if there are any red flags at all, rumor or otherwise, maybe Brad Stevens is like, yeah, it's an area of need. Yeah, this kid can ball. But if there's any question mark at all in terms of character or any of that sketchiness stuff, I'm not going to be a part of it because I don't want to mess up the cohesion of this team and the chemistry of this team. How rare is it to have title teams, you both know this, where literally everyone comes back. It just doesn't happen. Guys are taking pay cuts to run it back with this team. So kudos to Brad Stevens for that. I guess, Greg, that's my way of saying I'm over it now, and I'm behind your guy, Baylor Shireman. If you want to check out the article, it's on NESN.com. By the way, Greg, you'll feel good about this. While we were talking on the Google machine, I Googled his name. The first thing that pops up, baby, NESN.com, college coach draws NBA comparison for Celtics draftee Baylor Shireman. That is SEO working at its best, baby. Let's go.
Any guess on who his college coach said he was?
Oh, as a comp? Who?
As a comp, yeah.
Who?
Any guesses?
Who? Tay, you're the baller. You guess.
Yeah, I don't even know. I want to say like like the ceiling, maybe like a Gordon Hayward or something like that.
I like that.
Oh, I like that. That would probably be a ceiling. He said Joe Ingles. Ingles, but
I don't love that.
He's also.
You should have lied and said Gordon Hayward.
Joe Ingles, and then Austin Ainge said Luke Kennard. So,
okay.
But yeah,
God,
you can read more about what it. Yeah, not great, but hey,
Jesus.
30th overall pick, I guess what you can expect. But yeah, you can read more about what his coach had to say on him on NESN.com.
Joe, I was not feeling that Joe Ingles nonsense. Joe Ingles. Oh, Gordon Hayward, I didn't hate.
Luke Kennard, I'm like, is he still in the league? He's averaging 11 points per game for the Grizzlies with no job. I mean, not terrible. Obviously got paid from his time with Detroit.
I think Gordon Hayward, it's healthy, would be the best case scenario, right?
Luke Kennard is like 50% from three. Keep that in mind, too. If you get that in this offense, like 3 threes a game, 50% from the floor, hitting on 3 threes a game,
Yeah. Joe Ingles is where I draw the line. Not that he's a bad player. I'm not interested.
I was hoping for like a Kyle Korver.
Right.
In there, you know? But like, again, Kyle Korver, unconscious shooter.
Facts.
Just white guys comparing to white guys. Ingles, Kennard. Who's the guy with the discount double check belt? Played for the Bucks, Milwaukee. No, Knicks. Oh.
Discount double check. I'm thinking Rodgers.
Yep. Oh, man. Knicks.
Now you're going to look. DiVincenzo? That's your dog.
All right. Just more white guys.
You said it.
Steve Novak. That was it. Mr. Basketball in Wisconsin. That's why
it gets worse.
Steve Novak was automatic from three. That was a great interview. Dudek's a man.
Yeah, we like him a lot. Go check that article out on Nesson.com as well. All right, let's talk hockey, shall we? Let's skate to the ice. Now that there's been a lot of big off-season moves, I think it's a safe time to now pick our winners and losers of the NHL off-season. Let's start with the winners. Give it to me. Who you got?
Bruins.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Get Elias Lindholm. You get Zadorov, so you have a great physical big blue liner, and again, he can slot it next to Hampus Lindholm.
Facts.
And then, of course, you got Elias Lindholm, no relation, as your top line center, or he could slot in playing with Zaka and Pasta on the top line. That's a lot of speed. Or you have you go Brad Marchand on the left wing, and then you can go Lindholm, Zaka, Coyle straight down the middle. It adds depth. It adds versatility. Is he a bona fide 1C? No. Can he be one with David Pastrnak playing next to him? Certainly. I wouldn't be surprised at all. The Bruins desperately needed scoring, and they got that. They got dynamic playmakers, someone who played for, this is his third team in just 2 seasons he's playing for between the Flames, the Canucks, and now the Bruins.
Yep.
But 200-foot center, can score, and he got the best available free agent at the position of need. Very young.
Love
we'll
it.
have him through year 38. I know it's long. I know it's a lot of money. I don't care.
Who
You
cares?
needed scoring, and you need to capitalize on David Pastrnak and Jeremy Swayman's prime, and they do so with this.
Okay, you bringing up Swayman is why I didn't go winners yet for the Bruins.
Because it ain't done.
I am waiting on that shoe to drop. When that shoe drops, I think they have every single case to be made that they won the offseason. I really do. But that's a big shoe that I need to drop before I can go there. I'm going to go the Nashville Predators instead.
That's a good call.
Look at what they did. This was a playoff team last season who eventually lost to Vancouver that we saw was the truth. But they said, okay, we barely got into the playoffs. We lost to a better Vancouver team. We're not messing around. Let's load up with vet guys who know how to win this thing. And I'm talking about Stanley Cups. They get Steven Stamkos. They get Jonathan Marchessault. I love what the Preds did this offseason. That's a winner for me until the Bruins sign Sway. Then I'm on your side of things, George. Let's go to the losers because, look, one team I believed in last year, I thought they would have a chance to get to the Stanley Cup Finals. It was finally their time after knocking on the door for a long time. And I love the move that the Carolina Hurricanes did, adding Jake Gensel at the deadline. I thought they are going for it. They also added Kuzi. I mean, they had a lot of guys come in there, and they were just going to try to roll the dice. For years, Carolina could not win Stanley Cup playoff games on the road. So I thought by sort of rolling the dice, moving and shaking, bringing in these top-notch players, that would be their shot. And they damn near did it. They beat the Islanders, and then they went 7 with the Rangers, and they just couldn't get it done. Now it feels like Carolina's punting. It feels like they're like, you know what? Jake Gensel was a rental.
And they gave
We're not
up a
going to
lot
keep
for
him.
Gensel.
They did. And allegedly all the stories were that Gensel didn't want to be there. But say what you want. They couldn't figure it out with him. They lost some key pieces. I'm going to tell you, I almost think the air is out of their sail. And their championship window could be closed. I'm going to go Carolina Hurricanes here as my losers. They did not do enough to remain at the top in the East, or at least that top cluster of teams.
I went with the same approach on this one. I needed more ads. I go with the New York Rangers.
Wow.
There were the rumors of trading Trouba. Nothing happened there. You needed to add because obviously you were talented enough to win the President's Trophy.
Yeah.
But Keandre Miller, nice piece. He's maxed out. You know what he is. You needed to add scoring. You needed to add toughness. And you're about to have to pay Igor Shesterkin a lot of money every year, and that's going to handcuff a team. So same thing as you're waiting the shoe to drop on Swayman. He's going to get paid. I believe it will be a good deal on both ends. He'll get paid, but it'll still be helpful to build out
Team
the team.
friendly. Yeah.
Exactly. Shesterkin wants to get the bag. And look at the two teams that are in the Stanley Cup Finals. It was Stuart Skinner and Sergei Bobrovsky. It's not about being a great goalie. It's about having 6 goalies on the ice and a team that knows how to play.
I am a little bit shocked that you have the Rangers as losers, which kind of brings me into my next question. If we're reseeding the Eastern Conference in the NHL, because I know the Rangers were at the top of the heap last season. I do not believe that's going to happen. I am still, and I said this now for 2 years running, I believe we are in the Panthers era right now. And 2 years ago when I told all the Bruins fans, don't be cocky. Don't sleep on this Panthers team. Everyone called me nuts, and then the Panthers went out and knocked the Bruins off in the first round. I'm still not over that, by the way. Then the very next season. So, by the way, let me stay there. They go to the Stanley Cup final and lose.
Depleted, banged up.
But the very next season, they win this one. They win the finals, we see. I think the Panthers, I'm still going number one in the Eastern Conference. I just believe they're the best team, and they very well could repeat, by the way. Then I'll go Rangers, too. I hear you on them not making enough splashy moves.
But they can make some at the deadline.
But I tell you what, that team just on paper still is one of the best in the East. So I'll go Rangers there. I just think their mentals, when they get in the postseason, they got to figure something out because they're not able to get it done yet. I'll go Bruins 3 for everything you said. This has been a great offseason, but you got to get Sway under contract to make it all the way great. And then I'm going Maple Leafs 4. They're basically just running it back. And you know what? It'll be just fine in the regular season. If you told me the Maple Leafs were the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, I wouldn't be shocked at all. We just know what's going to happen when it counts. And you put all the chips on the table, and it all counts in the postseason. We know what they're going to do. Choke. That's what they're going to do. So I'll go Maple Leafs 4.
I like that. My top 4 are very different than yours.
Okay.
My 1 seed, I have the Lightning. You
I don't like
added
that.
Jake Gensel.
Yeah.
You have Hedman. Gensel sliding in with that top line and a healthy Vasilevsky from the jump.
Love it.
Go Lightning 1. Bruins as my 2 seed.
Okay.
The Elias Lindholm effect. Jeremy Swayman now taking over, becoming the man. You have Korpisalo to back him up, but it is Jeremy Swayman's net. I go Panthers 3. The only reason I don't have them being the 1 seed, because the Panthers are going to do what they've done. Coast through the regular season and make sure they put it all together when it really matters, and that's the playoffs. If they went back-to-back and won, I'd be surprised at Sergei Bobrovsky, but I wouldn't be shocked because they play their style of hockey. But I don't expect them to go out there and be the 1 seed. And then 4 seed up at the Rangers. Long fall from that 1. But
wow.
I can see a big shake-up. This is a team running it back, but I need to see more from Mika Zibanejad. You could tell I'm speaking from the perspective of a hurt Rangers fan.
I can tell.
I just want them to show up, the blue shirts, and make noise happen in the playoffs.
It almost seems mental to me at this point for them in the postseason. I thought the last postseason it was all perfectly laid out for them. They were just not able to get it done. I want to go back. I like your Lightning pick. I could see the Lightning in the top 4 or 5 in the East, which is essentially what they were last year. They were the 5 seed, if I'm not mistaken. But the reason I'm not going as high on the Lightning as you, and I'm going higher on the Maple Leafs, is just because the Maple Leafs are a regular season team. And the Lightning, even with the players that they lost, and you mentioned their additions, they're still the same team. They're an old veteran team who knows how to get it done when it counts in the postseason. So just like you brought up with the Panthers, this is a team that's not going to put a ton of stock in the regular season. They just know they need to get in, and then they know how to handle their business. That's where I put the Lightning as well. That's why I actually believe in the Maple Leafs, because they're running it back as is. We've already seen that offense do great things. They're going to put up numbers. They're going to kick a lot of regular season butt and then choke it away in the postseason. It's what they do.
You get to the first round in Toronto.
Yeah.
It's the same old song and
It's what
dance.
they do. Even if they win the first round, they ain't going nowhere after that.
My buddy, he went to Quinnipiac. A bunch of Canadians go to school there. And a bunch of his friends are from Canada. He's like, oh, we got to go up to Toronto for like a playoff series. It'd be sick to see like an Easter Conference. And they were like, no.
Yeah, no.
We don't win.
Go to a regular season game.
We don't win.
You ever been to Toronto?
Yeah, I love it. Awesome
I hear
city.
it's a great
You've never
city.
been?
No, I've never been.
You'd love it.
I've never been.
I did the trifecta Niagara, Toronto to Montreal.
Oh.
Niagara, very expensive. Toronto's expensive, but at least it's a big city. Then you get to Montreal, and it's all the French Canadians that hate us, and they're real jerks. But the food's good. Go to Toronto and go check out Tim Hortons. Not as good as Dunkin'.
Really?
But Tim Hortons gets the job done. I'm a big It's just everything's small. I don't know. Something about
the
it.
little portions.
It's a European.
Oh, I hate that.
Try
so
Tim Hortons
much.
and get back to me. Just not in the Toronto airport.
I'm a fat American. I'm not interested in all that. For all of our best content of the day, make sure you follow us on
You ain't
Facebook,
fat.
X.
You fit.
I'm husky. X, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. For Travis Thomas, George Balekji, here inside the PNC Bank studio, we thank you for joining us on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Until next time, peace.
Later.